Hello, today is the 13th of April 2025. So I'm sure you've seen the clips either in front of this video or maybe my last video. I told my friend that I like him. And okay. Where to begin? I don't know. I decided to tell him after I talked to my parents and my sister and asked for some advice, and then noticed I'm strong and I have the strength to get through it no matter what his answer is. And I just noticed I need to do this for myself to open up a new door of possibilities and to be strong and do what I want. So the next day, him and I met up in the morning, and I started speaking about stuff. I started mentioning stuff, but it just wouldn't really come out, and we were kind of under time pressure, or we only had a limited amount of time. So I guess that kind of stopped me as well, because I knew once I started, I wanted to talk about it properly. Also, in the end, I noticed it was fine that I hadn't told him, because then I just enjoyed my day fully at the safari park that I went to without having anything kind of in the back of my mind, without having his reaction in the back of my mind, basically, but just to enjoy what I'm doing and then prepare to tell him. Later on that day, we had planned to talk, although then he said he only has time at 11 at night. So he asked if I just wanted to send a voicemail and stuff, and I actually ended up doing that. Even though I didn't want to at first, I wanted to do it properly, basically. A voicemail was a bit too childish for me, but in the end, honestly, it was probably the best for both of us. I think the voicemail was about 2 to 3 minutes long, and my main priority was to tell him I don't want to ruin anything in the friendship, and that I'm really afraid of that, and I don't want anything to change or to be awkward, or the friendship is so important to me and I just don't want to lose that. That's my main thing. And if I would have known I would lose the friendship if I were to tell him, then I probably wouldn't have told him, if I would have known that in advance. But that didn't happen. I can already say that definitely didn't happen. Okay, when I told him, I was my whole body was shaking and I was breaking out in sweats and stuff like that, but honestly, I was calmer than I thought I would be if I ever told him. I really was calmer, and I was managing fine. I didn't feel out of control, I didn't feel powerless, I didn't feel this was such a massive big thing that's really, can end up really, really bad. I actually didn't have these strong catastrophizing thoughts in my mind. But of course I was scared, and of course I was nervous about it and thinking about it a lot and trying to find the perfect way, but then, the perfect way to say it, but then realized I don't think there is actually a perfect way. And before I actually told him, I was calling with my sisters as well, and they encouraged me and they were like, Leona, you got this, just, tell him it's all good. So that was just really nice, and my whole family was just being supportive and there for me. Once then I told him, he took a few minutes to reply. He then texted me sorry if I'm taking so long to reply, this is not easy. And that was completely understandable. I just texted back absolutely, I understand completely, I know this is difficult and take your time, no pressure. But then I was texting over and back with my sister as well while this was kind of happening, and at some point I just had to kind of put down the phone and I just bawled. And I was at this point I was lying on the couch, and I I just had to like bawl, and there was nothing necessarily that I was really like thinking about and focusing on, but I think just the whole thing was just like, I just need to cry, I just need to, you know, let that out. And it was a nice crying, like it didn't feel bad, it was nice. And this has just been such a long journey for me, like relationships, sexuality, sex, like all of that has been such a big complicated part of my life the past few years, like I'd say since I was 14. So to be at this point where I am now just means a lot. And I finally, for the first time, like was ready for something, and I actually opened up a door of possibilities for myself. And I was so proud. And afterwards, like once I sent it off, the voicemail as well, I noticed like, wow, I actually did it, like I actually said it, and it was actually much easier than I thought. And also I was so proud that I did it, like what the hell. Yeah, then he texted back a longer message after a few minutes, and he was like really kind and gentle and honest, and like like really he didn't do anything wrong at all. But he basically said at first like that, you know, I'm so brave for doing this, and it's not an easy thing, so like well done for saying how I feel. And then he just said that he doesn't romantically feel the same, and that he doesn't want to leave me in any sort of uncertainty, but that of course he like would love to keep the friendship as well, because he really appreciates the connection we have and the friendship we have. And he said as long as it doesn't hurt my feelings to stay friends with him, then yeah, of course we can stay friends. And he also said that it was honestly kind of a shock for him, like he didn't really expect that. Yeah. So then we just chatted a bit back and forth, but nothing like really serious. I just asked him like, you really didn't expect this at all, with like a laughing emoji. And we didn't go much deeper into it. I just asked if we can talk about this properly at some point, and he said yeah. And yeah, I just said like, again, you know, the friendship is like the most important to me, and both of us said we just need some time to process as well. Like I was ready to talk to him that evening still, but he then said he just needs some time to process it, and that was honestly fine as well with me. Yeah, and it was just good to get that off my chest. Yeah, although like I didn't feel a massive relief, I would say, that evening, but honestly, like I wasn't doing bad either. Like I was okay. I was really okay. And but yeah, of course, when he texted that back, like at first I didn't really start crying, but then yeah, at some point it kind of caught up with me, and I just cried a bit. But that's like okay, like that's expected, and I was still doing fine. So then at some point I just went to bed, and I was doing fine there too. And I'd say during the night in between, I woke up with thoughts that were like, there's no way he doesn't feel the same at all. I just really couldn't accept that. I just really just couldn't understand that. Like I really was like, there's no way he doesn't feel the same at all. Like that all this time when I thought, yeah, there could be something, or maybe he sees something, that it really wasn't true, and that he really didn't see it or didn't feel that way. And I mean, I'm still like, maybe he's just really not admitting that to himself, because he is resisting relationships and stuff like that, which we kind of talked about the next day, yesterday. So maybe he just, you know, stays away and just really resists everything kind of. But I don't know, like I couldn't really understand that, but I wasn't really catastrophizing it either, which I thought I would do. I thought my reaction would be, oh my god, like I made everything up and it was all not true and I was just living in a fantasy and like I didn't see things clearly and everything wasn't the way I thought it was, and oh my god, that's so horrible and why did I believe that and stuff like that. And like, yeah, he doesn't feel that way about me at all. And like, I really thought my reaction would be big and catastrophic, but it wasn't, because I was like, look, those moments of, you know, connection and love and stuff like that, they were all still real. Like, we still loved being together, we still had so much fun and laughs and jokes, and, you know, we still met up and had these connection moments. Just, it wasn't the way I thought it was for him. Like, but honestly, like, they were still all real, you know. It's not like, oh my god, all of them are fake, so let's just throw them out the window. No, all of them were still real in a friendship sort of way. And I honestly think that I don't know, maybe this is just my hope, but I really think, I just felt it from the first moment I saw him that there was and is something between us, and he just can't see that yet, and that's okay. But I can just feel it, like when we're together, when we're talking, like, I don't, like, it's not deniable, like, honestly, it's just not, but he just can't or doesn't want to see that currently. But, you know, it's fine. And yeah, so basically I spent the entire day crying on and off, but I never felt like it was so bad and like I would never get over this. And, you know, I really reacted differently to what I thought I would be like. I really thought, like, you know, I'd maybe not be fine, maybe not feel fine, but I actually felt fine the whole day yesterday, which was the day after I told him, basically. Even though I was crying on and off and there was certain thoughts going through my head, but nothing like really weighed me down, and nothing was like, I just didn't think about things that were really horrible or would make everything worse. I was just really allowing myself to get through it step by step and to feel everything, and to not, you know, think about everything at once, because that feels overwhelming and that feels catastrophic. But go step by step, day by day, focus on the thought that, you know, or manage the thought that I have in that moment, not the thought that I could have, you know, in the future, or that I did have in the past. Like, just see how I'm doing right now and manage that, and just, you know, let myself feel it. And the way you know, I'm actually so proud of myself, because basically the evening when I had told him and all of that happened, I got ready for bed and I looked at myself in the mirror and my eyes were obviously red and I had been crying and stuff like that. But then I asked myself, like, how can I get through this? What can I do to, you know, get through this? And then I answered my own question. And I was like, okay, the way that I will get through this is if I am kind to myself and I am there for myself. So in that moment, I decided I am going to be kind to myself and I'm going to be there for myself, which again is a pretty new thing to me. Usually I would beat myself up and tell myself I made everything up and I shouldn't have done that, and look at where you are at now and look at all those things that you shouldn't have done or felt or thought the way that you did. So no, I decided I'm going to be there for me, and that, you know, the next day I'm going to allow myself to feel everything. I'm going to guide myself through. I'm going to be understanding with myself that, like, yeah, of course I would feel that way, and of course I'd react this way because of certain beliefs I have. Like, it's all understandable, and there's no need to be unkind to myself. And I knew that with kindness and love towards myself, I will get myself through this and out of this. And that just felt so powerful and really, really like soothing. And I just love that, and I'm so proud of myself for being like that. And having come to that point where I'm allowing myself to be kind to myself and not always feel like I need to beat myself up for everything. So basically during the day then I just texted him like a really like forward message, because I had texted him 2 or 3 messages before and he hadn't answered like for many hours. And I honestly just didn't want to make this a big deal, and I didn't want to make anything bad. So I just sent him like a forward message saying like, Mario, can we please just talk about this? Can we please just meet up? Like, we don't need to make this a big deal. It doesn't need to be, you know, anything major. Let's just meet up and talk about this and just normalize it, because it's like, it's all fine. And I think meeting up would help to just see like, you know, everything's fine and, you know, it's all good. So I was really like, can we please just meet up and talk about this? And yeah, he answered. We then met up at 7:15, and he was here in the village with me and in my house until 10:40 at night. So like over 3 hours we were together, and I said everything I wanted to say, everything that came into my mind I said, and it was all so like normal and calm and natural, and like such a flow of just talking over and back, and both of us were just honest with each other. And I know that both of us do not want to lose what we have, so both of us are putting in the effort to keep that and to uphold it and to be ourselves. And oh my god, like, yeah. So before he came, I was like a tiny bit nervous, but not the way I usually be. And also my mind was like, I was kind of in my own bubble the whole day, so nothing really bothered me that much. So I didn't get very nervous to meet him or anything. Like, that just didn't really enter my mind much. I was just in my own bubble the whole day. I was just a bit afraid that I wouldn't be able to act naturally around him, that I would feel awkward, or that I wouldn't be able to look him in the eyes, or not be able to think clearly or talk properly, because that's the way I would have been in the past. Which is so freaking amazing to see how different I am now. Like, it's just insane, and I love it. I was a tiny bit afraid of that, but then I kept telling myself like, I'll be fine. I don't need to make things awkward. I'm not gonna make it awkward. Like, it's all fine. You know, everything's fine. There's no need to like stress, and I just won't be awkward. Just be natural. Yeah, and then when we met up, he brought his friend's dog as well, and that was actually so sweet, because it was so nice to just have an animal there, and they're just so free and happy, and it was actually so nice having an animal there with us too. I would say, so when we first saw each other then and met up, like, he hugged me and like everything was kind of normal. We did speak normal. We pretty much, yeah, we basically acted normal. I would say that I felt a small bit awkward at the beginning, like really a small bit, just because I was like, okay, you know, we're gonna talk about this, and I wasn't feeling awkward about that, but it was just like, I don't really know, there was nothing going, like, strongly going through my mind. It was just like, okay, how are we gonna be together now that he knows? Like, I think that was the question I was just asking myself, like, how are we gonna act and be together now that he knows? But there was nothing I actually pinpointed that I was like, oh, this is so awkward, or this could be weird, or blah, 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 like, no. And as soon as, like, we started talking, it got easier and easier, like, very quickly. And then once we actually spoke about the topic, I'd say half an hour into the meetup, it then just like all the awkwardness just disappeared, and like it was just so natural and normal. And oh my god, I would relive yesterday like any day, like honestly, even through all that crying and everything. But it was such a beautiful day. Like I literally would relive yesterday any day. The way I managed everything, and oh my god, the way I felt, and I was fine, and I was in my own little bubble that was kind of like soothing and caring about myself. And then the meetup with him, like that was one of my favorite moments with him so far, like really. And now it's like I can really talk to him about anything I want to, because there's nothing I'm keeping a secret anymore. It's like in the past, I was always nervous to meet him because there was always something I kind of had to keep a secret, even though sometimes I didn't want to, other times I was scared he was going to notice something. Like there was always something, that I was thinking about constantly when we met up, or even beforehand, because this was always kind of in my mind. Now it's like I don't need to like hide anything anymore. I don't need to push anything aside. I don't need to I can really now talk to him about anything, and be so natural and open with him. And that's just so amazing, and I'm so happy about that. And yeah, now I can feel kind of the relief that he just knows, and I don't need to be scared anymore. And I even noticed that when we talked about everything, I then even ate stuff, which we've eaten together a few times already, but a lot of the time as well I felt like I couldn't really eat because I was too nervous, or I felt, I don't know, something in my mind just kept me from eating around him. But then yesterday I was kind of really natural and just kind of ate some stuff and drank a tea. I didn't eat much and stuff, and that's okay, it'll come as time goes on. But I'm just saying, I was just way more relaxed around him. And oh my god, I wish so much that I could, watch back everything we talked about, the whole 3 and a bit hours that we were together. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't say enough about it. Oh my god, I just wish I could, it was recorded and you could just see. Yeah, I started by saying so, and then he was like, Leona. I was like, yeah, well, you know this was gonna come. So I was like, so how do you feel about everything? And at this point we just sat down somewhere in the village on a bench. Yeah, he said that he's fine, and although he does, this happened a few times already to him, and he lost those friendships, and yeah, that sometimes he just thinks he should maybe be a mean guy so that people don't fall in love with him, because he just doesn't want that to happen. And yeah, so we talked about that, and he said that his mother and his best friend as well, they both said to him at some point, be careful, this person could fall in love with you. So they were talking about me, and yeah, they kind of felt like it was gonna happen. He said his best friend, the day that she met me, she was like, yeah, it's gonna happen. Maybe not right now, but it will happen. And yeah, she was right. Yeah, so honestly, the way we talked, we were sitting on the bench, so relaxed. I was sitting with my feet up, and we were just, oh my god, we were just so natural, and just saying things, and we were talking so calm and really open. And oh my god, I can't describe it, how nice it felt. And like, he couldn't have reacted in a better way. Like, he couldn't be nicer in that sense. Like, oh my god, it was just so amazing. And I explained to him how this has been a really difficult, path for me, relationships and stuff like that, and sexuality and all that. And I had so many fears, and like, it was my, emetophobia. Like, my dad has emetophobia, and, that's like one of the worst mental illnesses you can have. And basically this, like, relationship, sexuality, sex, falling in love with people, feeling comfortable and uncomfortable, like, all that was my emetophobia, basically. So it's a big, big, big thing for me. And now that I'm, like, ready to, oh my god, to have a relationship, to see if there is more, just shows so much. And obviously for myself, I wished that I could experience that, and that there could be more, maybe. But it's okay. Like, even the fact that he said no and that there's not going to be more between us right now doesn't ruin anything. Like, it doesn't ruin how far I've come. Like, I'm still at the stage where I'm at, like, ready for relationships, and having grown so much and learned so much. And yeah, I told him openly when I had admitted to myself that I liked him. Like, basically from the beginning, I was open for something. So I was never like, this is just a friendship, like, there's definitely not more, and there shouldn't be more, and you shouldn't want more. I never said that. I was always open to see if there is more, and to allow myself to feel more if I wanted to as well. So yeah, like, I'd say since I then moved here to Spain, I kind of, liked him more and more. But in February, I'd say, when I was here, and I made a video about the weekend I had with him and his friends and stuff, I think that's probably the time when I really admitted to myself, like, I like him and it's okay to like him. Before that, I always knew, I kind of like him, but I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if it's okay. It's like, but then in February, I was like, really admitted to myself, I like him and it's okay. I can like him. And then I'd say at the end of March, before I came here, I, in Ireland, decided, like, I want to do something and I want to tell him. I just don't know when and how. And then when I was here, basically the day before I told him, that's when I really decided I'm going to tell him. I'm telling him. So that's kind of how it played out. From the start, I was always like, oh wow, this could turn into a relationship and that would be so cool. Like, I would love that. And I kind of had hope from the start that maybe something would happen between us, because as soon as I saw him, even before I saw him, I was like, there really could be something. And like, I don't know, as soon as I saw him, I was like, I felt the potential. I don't know how to describe it. There just was something between us. I just knew it. We actually then before we came here to the house, we actually walked through the village and went onto the playground. Like, two adults that are just swinging on the playground. Like, it was so funny. But yeah, then we came here to the house and I made him something to eat, and then we just kept chatting and laughing, and like, I don't know, like, at some point he asked me, okay, so is it over now? Are we finished talking? And I was like, for now, yeah. And he went, as a joke, obviously, but yeah, but it wasn't actually over, because then we did talk more about it later on. Yeah, I also said to him, like, I just can't understand in my mind that, all those moments where I thought maybe you felt the same, or maybe you saw something, that it just wasn't true, and that I just basically made that all up. And he said to me, no, you didn't, make it up. It's just the way that you thought in that moment. And he then asked me, like, yeah, can you give me examples of when you thought, there is something? And I said, yeah, well, for example, the way you reacted to my dad's message last week about, like, very nice couple. And yeah, he at first said, yeah, tell me examples, of where you thought I felt something so that I can avoid that in the future with anyone else. I was like, no, if you're going to be like that, if you're going to change, then no, I'm not telling you. He was like, no, I'm not going to change. Like, it's my personality. I'm going to stay nice, okay? So yeah, but that was the only example I actually gave him. Yeah, and we talked about my family's reaction, their support, and I actually didn't talk to any of them yet, except for Alana. But all of them texted me, that they're there for me, and I guess Alana told them Mario's reaction. But I still haven't spoken to any of them. I'd say I'll speak to them today. Yesterday I just wanted and needed time for myself, and nothing like depressing, like nothing like I just need time to myself, it's also horrible. No, but I just really didn't want to go at my phone much. I just wanted to focus on myself. Yeah, and I told Mario, like, I've been crying on and off, and like, but it's all fine and I will be fine. And I told him what I was crying about and stuff like that, and it was just so beautiful. And at some point we talked about money and investing and stuff like that, and both of us told each other how much money we have, which is so weird. Like, I don't usually tell anyone that, and I don't think it's a normal thing to tell anyone, but I don't know, like, it just kind of came to that, and it was actually really funny. And yeah, I don't know, that was just a kind of funny conversation. But it was nice to see, like, how open and relaxed it was and is about that. Then I asked him, for example, like, in November when he was with me in Ireland, he said that he doesn't want a relationship, and that even if he would fall in love with someone, that he would still decide to stay single. So I was like, why? Like, I'm just interested, like, why is he resisting that? Because I could feel he was resisting something in Ireland, because he also didn't want to talk about it. He immediately said, like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that. And then yesterday again, he just said, there is no big reason. I was like, Mario, there's always a reason. And there is. I know there is. And I think he noticed then that there is. But he just said that he just doesn't really want to talk about it because it just makes him feel uncomfortable. And I just assured him, he can trust me and he doesn't need to feel uncomfortable around me. And he said, yeah, that's, like, fine. And I joked, like, okay, because I kept bringing it back up again then, and kept being like, and kept asking new questions. And then both of us were just laughing, because I'm like that a lot. Like, that is, I don't know, I guess OCD, like obsessive thinking. So I really just wanted to know, like, what is he resisting? What is he scared of? So every time I, like, spoke again, he was like, Leona, leave it. Like, I'm not going to tell you now and stuff like that. But it was, like, really funny, like, nothing bad. We were both laughing, and I said, yeah, well, if you're not going to tell me now, just be prepared, because I am going to ask again and I will bring it up again in the future. And then he replied saying, yeah, well, maybe then I'm ready to tell you. So yeah, that's a conversation to be continued, but the rest was really lovely. And then we walked upstairs and we sat a bit on the terrace, and it was dark outside already, but we just sat there. And then I was like, okay, let me just say something crazy. So I think we are going to date at some point in the future, but you just have to be ready for that. And then I said, I mean, I don't know if that's just the way I'm feeling now, but, like, from the first moment I saw you, I knew there was something. So yeah, and I told him the story of how my mom basically said the same thing to her first boyfriend. She asked him out and he said no. And then she said back to him, yeah, well, I'm going to get you at some point. And she did, because they went out then for a couple of years, actually. And then he just looked at me and smiled the whole time. And he was like, okay, so is that like a tradition in your family? And I replied saying, no, but it could be. So yeah, I really do think, and not based on my feelings, I mean, of course I have feelings and stuff, but when I'm just calm and not like based on my feelings, I just know, I can just feel that there is something between us, and he's obviously just not ready, and he just can't see it, and you know, but I really think that there is something between us. I think that's undeniable, honestly, and I think something will happen between us in the future. Who knows when? Who knows in a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, years? I don't know. I don't need to think about that. But I really do think something will happen between us. And yeah, and the thing is, I wasn't even scared to say that, because that's how natural and open and honest our conversation was. And that's how unjudged I felt. And you know, he said that my feelings are totally fine and that he's just scared to hurt me. Like, that's his thing. Like, he, you know, that's why he wants to be or thinks it's better to be an asshole, maybe, because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. But I was like, look, you're not hurting me. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault that you don't feel the same as I do. You're allowed to not feel the same. Like, that's okay. Like, you don't have to feel the same, and it's not you that's hurting me or other people. It's like our own hope and our own, you know, wants and stuff. And if we don't handle our reactions well, then that's hurtful. But you know, you don't have to feel the same. Like, you're just a human. So yeah, then it was time for him to leave, and he hugged me really tightly and for longer, like way longer than we usually would hug. So we both hugged each other tightly, and he just said, you know, thank you for everything, and I am so happy to have you in my life. I replied the same, like, thank you for coming, you know, thank you for being here, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Like, what the hell? So that was such a cute moment, and yeah, he then left, and I just couldn't believe what a beautiful day I had just experienced. And people will probably think I'm crazy, because this is something that would, for a lot of people, be torture, I guess, and like really can be really horrible. But I don't think I've ever said that about any day that I lived through in my life, that I would relive the day exactly the way it was. Like, it was such a special day. I can't even begin to describe, and I would literally relive that anytime. All of it, every single second of it. And I just noticed him, like he's here, and he's really like, you know, I wished for him to come over for so long, like since I came here to Spain, and last weekend it didn't work out and stuff, and then I noticed like he's really here, and we're really talking about this, and we're together here as friends, and it's beautiful. And the dog kept making us laugh as well. I feel like we have now grown so much closer and so much more like natural, open and free. And yeah, he said to me as well, like, if there's anything else I want to talk about, that I can always go to him and talk to him. And oh my god, that means so much. And wow, this was so good, being able to talk to him, deciding to do this, and I'm so grateful he came over and talked with me. Yeah, and after that I didn't cry anymore. I am so freaking lucky to have him in my life, and he's just such a beautiful person. And yeah, obviously my feelings aren't just gone. Obviously I still like him. I think I kind of expected that after yesterday, like after allowing myself to feel everything, cry about it and talking to him, that maybe then, I just let go. But no, that's not the way it works, honey. And that's okay as well. Obviously I'm still allowed to like him, and I'm just learning to allow myself to feel that way instead of telling myself I shouldn't and it's not good. Because what I'm kind of scared of is to continue brooding about this topic, to continue feeling so much hope and then, I don't know, like be disappointed or have nothing happen. Or I don't want this to be like my main focus of my life. Even though it's a nice focus, and I guess that's why I'm focusing on it so much, but I don't know, I don't want that to take up so much time. I want to be able to enjoy other parts of my life and not just that. Like, be able to enjoy whatever is around me. And yeah, but I think I just need to keep being gentle to myself. This morning it was a bit harder than yesterday. Like yesterday I was really kind and gentle to myself the whole day. But this morning I was more like, oh no, you should really now stop brooding. Like, now stop thinking about it. Because he doesn't like you right now. And, you shouldn't focus on that. It shouldn't be your main focus of your life and stuff like that. But I think the best way I can get through this is be kind to myself. Be freaking kind to myself. Allow myself to feel that way if I want to. I'm still able to focus on other things. I think what I'm afraid of is if I focus on that and then basically then lose it at some point or just get rid of it, that then I won't be able to enjoy anything else in my life and I'll just go back to feeling down and depressed and sad. But I know that I love other things in my life. I know that I love him as a friend, and I know that I love nature. I know that I love being here in Spain right now, that my friend from Germany is coming over tomorrow, and that then my sisters are coming over. And yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to go from thinking about this so much to just the next day not think about it at all anymore? Like, come on. I can be a bit kinder to myself. But yeah, obviously that's a fear and I can work on it, and it's not necessarily true the way I'm believing it. So I'm so happy we didn't make it awkward. I'm so happy we're still so natural and funny together, and I'm so happy we got to do that and speak together. And I'm so happy to have him in my life. Like, oh my god. Okay, there's so much more I could say. I feel like I could. Like, I just don't want this to end. Wow, what an amazing day. Okay, now let me go and deal with the unkind thoughts to myself that are making me feel bad. If I were kind to myself, I wouldn't feel bad, and then I would probably brood even less. Because you brood when you're afraid of something, you're trying to control something. So just, it's okay, girl. I'll figure it out. Okay, anyways, yesterday was yesterday, and it was an unforgettable day, an unforgettable experience, one I would relive anytime. And I loved being in my own little bubble, and I loved being with him and talking to him, and like, oh my god, it was amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. You have got this. You are strong. You are capable. Way more than you believe you are. You have got this. This is in your own hands. You can create the life that you want. You are creating your reality, so you can create the reality you want. Keep going. Don't give up. And until then, bye. Oh, and also what I just remembered and forgot to mention is basically it was really cloudy the whole day, and when we were sitting outside, it was really cloudy, but then the sun was going down and it was illuminating the mountain behind us. And the mountain, like, it was just the mountain basically that was like shining bright, like a really bright light. Then he said how like there's always some light in the sky, and that just made me so emotional, and that's when I actually teared up. And a few seconds later, a small rainbow appeared in the sky. And rainbows mean so much to me as well. Like every time there's some like a significant moment in my life or something that's like changing and evolving, there's somehow always a rainbow that shows up near me. And it was so nice, and he just pointed that out too. It was so nice. And yeah, I just actually came off the call with Dad, and we spoke a bit about Mario and all of that. And what was funny is that Dad was like, okay, look, something is going on with this guy, because I was actually quite angry at this, like about this. I said this to Mom and your brother Carson and your sisters. I was like, look, you don't drink, you don't party, you're responsible, you have money, you go fly to different places, you're pretty, you're kind, you don't flirt with other people, you don't sleep around with other people. You know, you're mature and all of that. And Dad was just listing all these things, and he then asked, like, how could he not, like, you know, want to date you? Like, there must be something wrong with him. There must be something like, you know, something resisting, a part of him resisting something. And I just had to laugh, because I was like, Dad, you can't force feelings. But like, thanks for all those compliments. But like, you can't force, you know, those feelings. And Dad is also like, yeah, you're good with kids and with animals and stuff. Like, oh my God. You can't force those feelings, but like, there is something as well that Mario is resisting, like, definitely. Like we spoke about that, me and him, yesterday evening. So there is definitely something that he's resisting, something that he's scared of. And Dad was just like, okay, yeah, but if he didn't resist it, do you think then he would pick you? Like, would he go out with you? Would you be the one he would want then? And it's just so funny. Like, yeah, I hope so. But you can't force those feelings either, but there is something he's resisting. So yeah, but that was really funny. The main and most important thing, obviously, which I don't know if I really mentioned that clearly in this video, is the effort that I put in. Like, the effort I put in to make myself strong enough to be able to cope and to handle this. The effort I put in about telling him, the effort I put in the next day to be kind to myself, to talk to him, to make things happen, to make things work out. Like, that's the main thing, like all the effort I put in, yeah, to create the reality that I want for myself, basically. And then obviously I can be really proud of myself for having done this, because this takes a lot of courage and it's not an easy thing to do. And the fact that this is a difficult, or was always a difficult topic for me since I was like 14, and I was always really, really scared of all of that. So the fact that I now did it, and I, you know, was strong enough, and I did it for myself and all of that, I can be so proud of myself. And then obviously the fact that, like, I didn't make it awkward, the fact that I was open and honest, that I just talked to him about it, that I decided to do this for myself, the fact that I'm allowing myself to feel the way I do and to just process everything, his reaction, my thoughts and emotions, all of that. Like, that's probably the main thing. And that's what I'm trying to focus and process. Like, that I can be so proud of myself and that it shows, I'm strong and stronger than I believe, and that I'm, not reacting the way I thought I would. Like, I'm managing it much better than I thought I would be able to. Yeah, and that everything's kind of, fine. I think that's the main thing.